Hey everybody, it's Kazons with Mick, a frank and honest discussion about whatever we want to talk about in the morning. Sure, like a bunch of astronauts in some sort of Star Trek? I saw First Contact yesterday, and it's amazing that people continue to write Star Trek after that, because to even attempt to top a line as perfect as that by the great Zephram Cochrane is amazing. But we're not going to talk about the glory of Zephram Cochrane in First Contact, one of my favorite Star Trek movies. We're going to talk about the Kazon, probably the most hated alien race in the Star Trek fandom. I actually like them. I liked Maj Kala and the Kazon Nistrum, but I understand why people hate them. Or at least think they weren't a credible threat at all. Or, there's so much wrong with the Kazon. For one, the whole credible threat thing, the Voyager is going at warp, in one direction, constantly pretty much, meeting new species along the way. And yet, somehow, this pre-warp civilization using spaceships they don't fully understand, or they didn't even make them, they stole those, is somehow catching up with them. Somehow. Now, there's the thought of, Neelix, taking them to, different planets for, getting food and other stuff. That could slow them down a little bit, but once again, light speed travel. It's basically like a high school runner somehow catching up to the Flash, essentially. Ugh. And that's kind of the thing with, the difference between Voyager and other Star Trek shows. They, weirdly enough, have an excuse as to why they don't develop on a lot of concepts. Why they don't go back to different worlds, because they're constantly moving forward. That's the whole theme of Voyager, constantly moving forward to the end result of the series, which is going back to Earth. And, I understand the logic of that, but it kind of makes Star Trek Voyager one of the weaker series because once again, Michael Berman kind of didn't really understand why people liked Star Trek. It wasn't just about going to new worlds. It was about exploration of relationships in every definition. And Voyager is missing out on explicitly one type of exploration, revisiting. Revisiting is a type of exploration. Exploring concepts in new ways. Old concepts in new ways. Weirdly enough, Lower Decks, Lily Sloan says it best. We don't need to go to new planets. We can just go to the same ones in different realities and see what could have happened differently. And that's weird. Voyager should have fixed all of that as well. So thank you, Lily Sloan, for existing. Picard needed to hear that. Oh, he needed to hear that. Got your whale, Captain Ahab. Yeah, they should have at least kept Seska around. Seska was a pretty cool antagonist, and I'm pretty sure she was, not supposed to die, but you know how it is. Probably a contract dispute or something. But I still wish there was somehow a way for at least the Kazon Nistrum to follow up all of them, because, in Maj Kala's mind, the Voyager were just a bunch of, technology hoarding jerks who set up a peace meeting where, their former enslavers tried to kill them, and also thinks that Chakotay forced himself on Seska, and, yeah, but by his perspective, the Voyager are pretty much the bad guys, and we just leave them there, because, once again, we're moving forward, and apparently I'm the only person on the internet who cares that the Kazon are never brought up again, because, admittedly, they are knockoff Klingons. But unlike the Ferengi, they weren't allowed to shine, so I'm a little mad on that. The Ferengi were also knockoff Klingons. That's what they were at first. Then we added the rules of acquisition and other aspects of Ferengi culture, and they became their own thing. The Kazon were simply not allowed to be their own thing. Yes, they sucked out loud in the first 2 seasons of Voyager, objectively. But just because something sucks at first doesn't mean you can't develop it and make it something cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole point of Star Trek. Taking old concepts that are just kind of weird and then making something unique and develop from them. And that's kind of a weak aspect of Voyager, because so much of it is just moving forward and forgetting where we were. And I feel that that's the complete opposite of what Star Trek stands for. Yes. Still like Voyager for the most part, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed my Star Trek musing, and I hope you have a morning.